Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Lynch Street CME Church Black History Month recognition and celebration of African American history. Thank you for joining us. We're here to celebrate the vital roles that African Americans have played in the development and progress of America throughout our history. We have found it especially fitting that we recognize Black Americans of the past, and just as fitting to recognize the living legends that are among us as member of Lynch Street CME Church. Good morning. We're here with Mr. Lovelace Tarth, and he is going to talk to us about his career in the Air Force, what inspired him, and all of the benefits and what he has to offer to those following him. We know that in January 1941, the War Department formed all-black 99th Pursuit Squadron of the U.S. Army Air Corps, later the U.S. Army Air Force, to be trained under single-engine planes at the segregated Tuskegee Airfield in Tuskegee, Alabama. The National Association of Colored People, NAACP, the Black press, and others had been lobbying hard for the government to allow African Americans become military pilots. However, neither the NAACP nor the most involved Black newspapers approved the solution of creating separate Black units. They believed that that approach would simply perpetuate segregation and discrimination. Nevertheless, largely at the behest of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a separate unit was created. The Tuskegee base opened on July 19th, and the first class graduated the following March, and Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Oliver Davis Jr. became the squadron's commander. Good morning, Mr. Tartt.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Mr. Tartt, we're going to listen to you and about the comments that you have as one of our living legends at Lynch Street CME Church. We know that you are a retiree from the United States Air Force, and we want you to elaborate on that just a little bit.
Okay, I am, as you said, retired. My name is Lovelace Tarth. I am a United States Air Force Technical Sergeant, retired. My specialty was non-commissioned officer in charge, 4400 Air Postal Squadron, Central Command, Republic of Panama, from 1978 to 1981.
Okay, great. So you joined the Air Force. What inspired you or intrigued you to become a military person?
Well, to begin with, I was always had a thing with airplanes, even as a young kid. They just always intrigued me. I was inspired when learning about the 99th Pursuit Squadron, all black Tuskegee Airmen, while I was in high school.
Okay. So, what year did you enlist?
I was drafted in 1969. I took the oath of enlistment in July, of 1970.
Okay, good. All right. So, some of your accomplishments, what are they?
Well, some of the accomplishments that I achieved, my goals were like the non-commissioned officer of the squadron, numerous awards and decorations, along with that.
Okay, so a non-commissioned officer, can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I can. In the military, you have two rank structures. You have the enlisted, which is the non-commissioned officers, and you have the officers side of the military, which are mostly those ladies and gentlemen that had degrees, and they were the ones that were flying the airplanes, the bombers. They were the ones at the top of the chart in the military.
Okay, good. So what was your rank?
My rank was, I attained the rank of E6, which is technical sergeant, prior to my retirement.
Okay. And what is an E6? How do you obtain that?
The rank structure for the enlisted starts at E1, which is in basic training, all the way up to E9. E1 the lowest, E9 the highest. I attained the rank of E6, and when I retired, I was like 3 maybe from being, attaining the rank of Chief Master Sergeant, which is top of the list.
Okay, great. All right. So, along with that, you're there, and we know that you had to encounter some difficulties. There are problems no matter where you are. So, what are some of the problems you encountered?
Some of the problems that I encountered, now we have to keep in mind this was during the early part of the civil rights movements, was segregation in the military. Now, and the reason why I say that is because I was told by numerous white supervisors that, kind of looked down on, being a black airman, young black airman in the Air Force, and told that I would never succeed in the Air Force.
Okay.
And so when I was told that, I was kind of hurt and moved, and I decided, I made up in my mind that, okay, he's saying that I can't do it, I'll show him that I can.
Okay, all right. Now, as we go back to the Tuskegee Airmen, I understand that our president's wife insisted on riding with them. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yes. My memory, if my memory is serving me correct, the Tuskegee Airmen were all black, okay, and but their commanders were all white. So when this movement started with the Tuskegee Airmen, the president at that time, his wife, she wanted to fly with one of the black airmen, whereas the squadron commanders or the wing commanders, they were all white, and they insisted that she flew with one of the white kids. And she said, no, I want to fly with one of the young Negro pilots.
Okay. Is there a reason for her willing or wanting that to happen?
Yes, it was, and I think that had a lot to do with the fact that she knew herself that they were capable of performing the same duties or higher than their white counterparts. Mm-hmm. And so they had, she had one of the black pilots to take her up, and one of the training aircraft at the time, he took her up and flew around, and she was impressed when she landed. Okay. And when she landed, that kind of got the ball to moving forward for the blacks in the military at that particular time.
So that was a great accomplishment, and I'm sure that you and the members of your squadron felt the positive about that, from her wanting to fly with one of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh,
How did that make you feel? I'm sure it was a proud moment.
Yes, it was. And I've always been in the company of black pilots, fighter pilots, cargo pilots, transport, whatever. Okay. And I got a chance in my career to meet some of them on the way up to my retirement.
Good, great.
And that was a motivating factor for us as young black airmen to see a black officer, even if he wasn't a pilot, in the squadron.
Right, good. So what were some of your contributions and some of your accomplishments? I'm looking behind you. There's a wall of certificates and medals. So if you can just talk to us about some of your contributions, some of your accomplishments, and we'll walk back there shortly and just let you elaborate a little bit on it. But if you can talk about your contributions at this point.
Well, I was awarded throughout my career with some of the highest as far as awards and decorations in the military. I received 3 of those awards, and each award is for a specific job and task that you were performing at the time.
Okay.
And 2 of those awards were for while I was stationed in Vietnam.
Okay. All right. So we'll take a look at those in just a moment. If you could talk about the number of years that you served our country, uh, Desert Storm, your retirement, those kinds of things.
Well, I served 20 years total, and there was no break in service. And by me saying no break in service, that was not like I did 4 years, got out for a year or 2, and went back in. They were all back-to-back years. Upon my retirement, I had received my retirement orders from then President George Bush, and that was right during the time of Desert Storm, the first war in Iraq. And I was asked by the commander at that time, my wing commander, that he needed someone in my position to go over and set up a postal, which is a post office for the military operations. And I refused, and he knew that I could do that because I had my retirement orders already in place. And he stated to me that if you decide to go, Sergeant Tartt, we'll promote you to Master Sergeant, but we can't guarantee your safe return back.
Right.
And I chose not to go because I was married at that time and had a child on the way.
Okay. So that was the reason for your declining, and that's understandable. Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about your paving the way and a message that you would leave to younger people joining the armed forces, females as well as males. You talk about being disciplined, focused, being a positive role model, your leadership skills. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I received while I was in the service, I had to attend numerous schools for non-commissioned officers because I was a supervisor and I was responsible for a lot of people under me. My overall, what I see now of what I did was good because I had to not only do what I did, but in doing so, I had to set a good example, which means that they were following in my footsteps as I was in older NCO's footsteps years before me. And that all came with training, respect, discipline, mostly discipline, and treating everybody equally, letting them know that although I'm your supervisor, I'll rank you, but when it comes to the one-on-one, being people as we are one-on-one, nothing takes away from that.
Right.
So, and I think that when people see that, they feel warm, they feel good about being around you because they trust you, they're willing to follow you, to do what you ask them to do because you ask them to do the right things that you wouldn't do.
Great. Okay. Now we're going to stand up and look at some of the plaques and the pictures that you have there. If you can just elaborate a little bit on what we're looking at.
Okay, now this one up here This is my first honorable discharge from Vietnam.
Okay.
And every 4 years you get a certificate like this to signify that you have honorably discharged with 4 years of faithful service. This one down here is a certificate of recognition from the Bush administration, just thanking me for my service.
Okay.
And that was by the Secretary of Defense, William X. Cohen at the time.
Okay.
This one here is the Department of Air Force Achievement Medal.
Okay.
And as far as the Air Force is concerned, it's about maybe two medals down from the top as far as the highest medal that you can receive.
Okay.
And this is just for the work that I did with the unit I was stationed with at the time.
Okay. Let's take a look at this. Post Senior Vice Commander.
Okay, yes, that was when I was stationed down in the Canal Zone, Panama, and they selected me as the Post Senior Vice Commander, and that was Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Okay.
And it was from 1987 to 1988. You have a post commander, and a post senior vice commander, and I was selected as a post senior vice commander.
Okay. And above you, we have a picture of you.
Yes, that was one of my latest pictures that I took prior to retiring as tech sergeant. And I was stationed down in Panama when I took that picture, and on my way to North Dakota before I retired.
Okay. And I'm looking at this medal.
This one here is for, I was the NCOIC of the 4400 Air Postal Squadron. They presented to me when I left Panama. And it's just recognition of good service, faithful service, that they presented that to me.
Okay. What we're going to do is venture right here, Mr. Tartt. I see you have your cap and you have a jacket. And you mentioned some of the ribbons. Are they called ribbons on that cap?
They're called ribbons.
Okay.
This one here is the National Defense ribbon.
Okay.
And that ribbon is always presented to whoever served in the military, man, woman, life. This one here is the Vietnam Service Medal. That's only for those who served in Vietnam. And this one over here is another Vietnam service
Okay.
medal.
All right. And we're looking at your jacket, and we notice that you're sporting a jacket that says Vietnam. Okay.
Right.
And then we're looking here at this picture. We see you and some of the members of your squad.
These pictures here, they were all black and white at the time.
Okay.
Were taken when I was in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
This was on the base. This picture here was taken when I was the NCOIC, non-commissioned officer in charge of the 4400 Postal Squadron, for awards that the squadron received for a program we had going on called Top Wheels.
Okay.
And that was my commander, Lieutenant Colonel Troy Moore at the time.
Okay, all right. Now we're going to move in here because I see some more medals, and we want to take a look at these medals as well. You've got so many of them.
Right.
Okay? So very prestigious, and we can tell that you did a great job.
Yes.
Okay.
And all of these were mostly Vietnam.
Okay.
This one here was my rank, my tech sergeant insignia that I wore on my dress blue coat,
Okay.
dress coat.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of these, some I can remember, some I can't.
I see. Okay. All right.
This picture here is a picture of one of the original Tuskegee Airmen, 99th Pursuit Squadron. This one down here was doing a training exercise for Desert Storm, of course, which I didn't go to. of me right before I retired.
Right.
We thank you so much, Mr. Tartt, for your service, and we salute you.
Thank you.